What's up, everybody out there on YouTube? Today is another update for the Iron Man Mark 50 3D print that I'm building. Not a whole lot to do today. I am going to show you some processes after this little introduction section here. I still don't have my actual camera working at the moment, so I'm still using my phone, which is real cruddy because I don't buy expensive phones. But I'll show you a few new things. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you've been seeing these live as I make them. I take pictures of them and put them on Instagram. Make sure that you go over to my Instagram. The link is in the description, and follow me on Instagram. If you're following me on Instagram and just seeing YouTube for the first time, make sure that you go back and watch the rest of the Iron Man Mark 50 videos, because I'm making a series, part 1, part 2, part 3, and until it's done, basically. Also, if you guys would be kind enough to go over on Patreon and support me on Patreon, I would really appreciate that. Any little bit helps, because this starts costing quite a bit of money after a little while. And that's kind of half the reason why there ain't a whole lot to do today. I can't really remember where the last one left off at, but there are a few things that I'm going to kind of go along with my Instagram to kind of sit here and I'll just show you a few things that I'm pretty positive are brand new, and then we'll go into some process videos. I did repaint the chest piece here, and I'll put some pictures up of the chest piece, and you guys will see the chest piece being painted. We put the silver here, and I painted this inner part silver only because this outline is silver here. Of course, this inside's going to be taken out. I don't know if you guys can see down here, but there's gold. We also painted the back. Painted silver on the neck here, and it looks really good as it is so far. The shoulder pieces, I think, were in the last video. I'm not 100% sure. The part where the neck comes together here, I put some little Velcro pieces and 2 little squares here and 2 little squares down here, and they're not strong enough. They didn't really hold, like I said in my Instagram like a week ago or something like that, I'm trying to figure out how to put this together, how it's going to be wearable, you know, the clips that I can use, the different types of things that I can do, and that there's going to be a little part of that in this video as well. I've got a little clip system over here on the side that I ended up putting in with some JB water weld, and that is my favorite of all time when you need something to stay, when you need something rock solid. JB water weld, the blue thing, is amazing. And so especially for 3D prints, it sticks to PLA filament so good, so good. And so all I did is I took some strapping, some buckles, and I put that JB Weld stuff on either end, and I stuck it onto the side here, because this side swings open, and you guys will see that this swings all the way open, and that's why these don't connect. It used to have a line here across here, but I wanted to take that off, and I'm going to have to figure something else out here. I think I'm going to put something that kind of mixes this, the chest piece, and the neck piece all in one connection, is what I'm going to try to figure out, at least, because the Velcro just isn't strong enough for this here, and most of the weight of this is all in the neck area here, so this actually has to be really strong. But since it swings open, I put some Velcro down the inseam just so it would line up and match up perfectly, because the Velcro doesn't have to be strong. And then I put that lock buckle right there, so you push the 2 pieces together and then you buckle it together, and so that's how this is going to connect basically to the back piece. And then over here on this side, I drilled 2 holes in it, and I put zip ties, circled zip ties, so it's basically like 2 circles here that act like a hinge, so the whole thing swings open like a door. So that's the idea that I've got right now for this. I was going to do the shoulder pieces with Velcro, put some little Velcro stuff here, but I'm not a huge fan of the Velcro with 3M sticky tape stuff on the other side of it. It's really not that great, and it's really not that fond of PLA, and it's really not that fond of spray paint, so it really doesn't stick that well, and the Velcro is so strong together that it comes off where the sticky tape is, rather than comes apart where the Velcro is. It's kind of a lost cause, to be honest with you. I've got one more arm piece. If you guys have seen some of my last Instagram photos, this is the upper arm. Let's see, it's this side here. It's the upper arm there. And once this upper arm gets done, and I can connect them to the lower arm pieces, then I can actually start measuring this into the perfect position to where it kind of comes over perfectly, rather than either, I don't want it to hang too much off or be too high or something like that. I need it exactly in the middle. So when I get the other one, I can do both sides perfectly. Doing a little bit of work to this. This is something that you haven't seen on Instagram yet, and this is something that I just started doing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this up close, but it looks a little tore up in here, and that's because I've been taking a Dremel and going in and trying to cut this out. I think this is a separate piece, and I probably should have separated the files before I went and put them solid together and stuff, because I think these are two separate pieces. If you look on the inside here, there's an inseam for this piece and an inseam for that piece, so it makes it two inseams. There's just a seam along here that shouldn't be there, and I think it's because it's both the seams put together. So I'm having to cut through basically two seams there. It's a little bit thicker than it should be, and then I'll straighten all that out. And the reason being is because it needs, as it is right now, that's how it is. It has no movement because of this part forward, and it has no movement backwards because of this part. So there's really no arm movement here. So I'm going to be taking this out here, and it's going to be kind of a separate piece. That way this right here will go up and down as the arm moves, and this can kind of go in. And then on this part, I looked at the Hot Toys and seen how the oscillation on the Hot Toys is. And what the Hot Toys does is this is rounded out here. And then there's like a little piece on the inside right here. So basically, I think I'm going to round this out, or I'm going to replace this with foam, one of the two. Now, I've been kind of undecided because I don't know how long it's going to take me to make actual clones of all this, because I'm not just going to make a 3D printed suit. I want to make this suit where I can make molds and stuff of it. So I want to make a mold of this entire thing and make it out of a stronger resin. Certain parts I want to be a stronger resin, like the chest piece, the helmet, some of the other parts. But like the neck piece, the joint areas here, probably some areas here, and the shoulder pieces and stuff, I want to make them out of silicone. That way they're flexible, because in the movie, the shoulder pieces is flexible. There's an over the hand piece that's going to be solid when printed, but if you watch the movie, he moves his hand back, and I've got a picture of it that I can put right up here, where he's got his hand back, and that whole upper piece bends back with his hand, and as his hands are going around, you can see all the other pieces bending with his hand because they're flexible. It's nanotech, and so it flexes. It's not like a hard, rigid armor like his past suits and stuff. And so the only way, you can't really 3D print this and get this 100% accurate, not even with TPU. I might print the whole thing rigid and then go through and find the pieces that I might, reprint in a TPU and see if that works. I'm not sure. There's a lot of ideas up in the air. For right now, I'm printing the entire thing in PLA, rigid PLA, and then I'll go back and figure that stuff out. So I can always reprint it. That doesn't really matter. And once I get the whole thing done, I can just go back and start printing other pieces that, I may not be right with here. And if I mess this up and I don't like the rounded edge there, I can always reprint this. I split this into 4 pieces, so all I really have to do is cut this part out here, pop that off, and pop the new one back on. So it wouldn't be that hard of a deal to fix. But right now, there just is no movement. When this goes on, then there's really no movement. And you can see that because of how rigid it is and because of how it doesn't go past a certain way under here, it's too long for my arm. So I'm going to have to, once I cut this, I'll see kind of how this moves back and see how much space it gives me between my wrist and my hand to see if the glove part of the hand fits. If not, I'll probably just do a little bit of I'll probably just take a little bit off the bottom down here. But since it's so rigid, it won't go up past certain points and it won't allow my arm to bend. So it seems like it's way too big. So in a sense, I got the sizing perfectly if I was making it a specific way, but then I got it wrong because it's so rigid in PLA. So It's a query, a little Chinese puzzle for you, if you will, I guess. But you know, I'll figure it out, and you guys will see it, and I'll be posting pictures to Instagram throughout the week, figuring out what I'm gonna do. I definitely got to get rid of that point though. It's all a guessing game right now. Once the other arm's done, I'm not gonna start on the hands right away. Well, no, I have to do the glove part, so I'm gonna probably do the top part of the hand and the bottom part of the hand, just so I can see the two parts that come together. But I probably won't do the fingers. I want to get the butt done so I can get the torso completely finished with the stomach and that, and I can heat shape it all, form fit it to my body using a hair dryer. And if you guys want to see that, make sure you leave a comment in the comments, because some people don't know that you can do that. Some people get a piece, and if it's the wrong size, if it just doesn't feel right or something like that, they'll go in and reprint it. But a lot of these things, you can take a hair dryer, and as long as you're careful with it, you don't heat it up too much where it's too flexible or something, and you just kind of slowly work with it, take your time with it and stuff, you can heat fit it to where it fits your body perfectly. So one more thing before I get off of here. I know that I've been kind of rambling, and you guys can get into the process video and stuff, and you guys will watch this part of me doing the black. That'll be in the process video that you guys can watch. I know that I had a request on some painting. In one of the comments, somebody asked if I could do a painting video, and I will. I'll do a painting video for like taping and stuff like that, because a lot of times I do get really good lines. This one, it's not the best lines in the world, but like I said prior, this is kind of my experimental helmet, because this helmet isn't the correct helmet. So I'm actually printing the right helmet at the end. But I've been kind of experimenting with this and trying new things to see what would happen. Instead of gluing it together, I've melted it all together on the inside. There's absolutely no glue in this helmet. It's all melted with a soldering gun. It's all soldered together. Front doesn't pop open or anything. And then because I did that, it had bigger gaps in certain areas and smaller gaps in certain areas. And so at first, this right here is pinstripe, this black line right here. At first I took pinstripe and went all over it. Didn't really look right. The pinstripe couldn't keep up with the curvatures and stuff. And then these parts were too thick for the thinner pinstripe, but these parts were too thin for the thicker pinstripe. But you wanted you kind of had to have one size pinstripe in order to make it look right, or else you'd have big ones and then little ones, rather than what I did is I just followed along with black. And you guys will see the process. I just took a paintbrush, went slowly with black and stayed within there, wiped off anything that got onto the helmet, and just took my time with it. And now it's got black in all the creases, the size of the creases, rather than thick here, small there. It's all the size of the original creases. So I think once I do make the actual helmet, it's going to be so easy to put together and do it because of the time that I've taken on this. And I also wanted to show you guys just how beautiful this was, because you can see it next to this. This is the same paint as this. I've been using all the same paint. It's a special custom paint that you can get at Walmart. It's like $7 a can. It's expensive when it comes to spray paint, but it's a beautiful color. It's matte red, metallic gold, and metallic silver. And it just did a phenomenal job. This is all matte red, metallic silver, and metallic gold in the same exact custom paint. But this doesn't have an acrylic gloss on it. And this kind of shows you just how awesome, you know, once you get a nice finish on something, how different it looks and how much better it looks. You can just tell by the shine and the professionalism, the professional look of it and stuff, compared to the flat. You know, some parts are scuffed up and stuff, and there's pieces off. And what I did with this is there was parts where the paint had came off because of some wrong taping or something like that. And all I did is I sprayed the can on into a cup, and I used a brush, and I just brushed it on the little parts that it needed. And you could tell when it was like this, in the matte red, you could tell the spots that I went in and touched up. But as soon as I added that gloss over the top of it, it all made it one color. And it looks so good. It still needs some wet sanding, but I was in a rush to kind of show you how, because I've been showing you guys pictures of these for the last like month. You know, as I build these, as I spray paint them, I haven't actually showed you what it looks like fully glossed and what it's going to look like in its finish. And so I wanted to get this out to kind of show you, you know, its finish, just its nice finish. I'll try to get up here real close just to show you how beautiful that color is. Just how smooth we got that top. See that? It's got the glitter in it. It's got that nice metallic shine to it. If you look at the gold, it's got that nice gold metallic shine to it. It's just a beautiful color. And when that acrylic high gloss was put on it, you can especially tell in the silver. Look at that. When that gloss was put on it, it amplifies it, because if you look at this, even if you look at this up close, this is a little scuffed up and stuff, but this is the matte color. You can get up close to it and you can kind of see that silver shine in it and stuff, but it's nothing compared to this. Once you add that gloss, it brings out that it just brings out everything in it and makes it just beautiful. Anyways, let's get on to the process video, guys. That's basically it. So I'm going to do the silver for the back. I could do this whole piece at once. As you can see, I got it pretty much connected all together. But I'm going to do one at a time because I got plenty of time. I'm doing the forearms and biceps right now, like I said in the last video. Each piece is split into 2 pieces, and each single piece takes anywhere from 15 to 20 hours to print. So as you guys can tell, I've got plenty of time. So what I like to do for big pieces is you can use plastic bags to cover the big space. It saves a lot of tape. And then any part that needs to be rigid, I just use white paper. I'm not really going to be worrying about the inside. Silver on anything on the inside. Then this is basically where I need to spray. Is basically covered. If I need to touch anything up because the little spurts gets here, then that'll be easy. So it takes a long time to tape this thing up, as you can tell by all the tiny little pieces of tape that I've used. And one of these days I'll show you kind of the technique that I use. When it comes to the neck piece, I'm not doing it like it is in the movie, only because it doesn't really have the markings on it that I can follow. I could kind of freehand it, but I decided, you know, there's a few pieces on here that I kind of want to do my own way, you know, make sure this is my suit, you know, this is my suit. And I figured the next piece is kind of a smaller thing. It's just red and silver. It's got some markings and stuff on it. It changes a couple times during the movie. I've got a few screenshots where it's completely different. So I'm going to kind of just paint this the way I want to paint it. And so you can see where it's taped up. The red parts are going to be silver. It has 2 like upside down triangles in the back in the movie. I'm just going to put a line across the back. I think it'll look sleek and nice. And then in the front, it's got these parts that come down, like 3 of them. But there was a few markings in the front here that I could tape and make look good and professional. Then I just decided to put some stripes down the sides because there's some marks going down the sides. The actual neck goes like it's like a V, and then it goes up, V and up, and then V and up. And it's like 3 of them. But I'm gonna make this the way I want to.
Oh.